Playoffs are upon us. It's NFL Wild Card Weekend, and we have our top 3 bets of the weekend, as well as we're going to give you our NFC Champion, and we're giving away some swag from grandstandbetters.com, and it all begins right now. Thanks, everyone, for joining us here at Grandstand Betters. I'm Matt from grandstandbetters.com. Go check us out. Become part of our family, but at the very least, become part of our community here on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Get all our free picks, free plays, and free predictions for 2021. But without further ado, let's dive in to our NFL Wild Card Weekend, starting with our third best bet, and this is going to be between the Washington football team and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a game of injuries really on the Washington side. We don't know what Alex Smith is going to be like, if he's going to play. Heineke, he could play as well. Let's be honest with this Washington football team. They're just lucky to be here in the playoffs. They're 7-9, winning the division in the NFC East. It's been a QB carousel. Could anybody have imagined Alex Smith would be here instead of Dwayne Haskins? I can't. I actually can't believe Dwayne Haskins was with anybody, but that's a different issue. Let's dive into the Redskins and what they're going to do in this game. They're only averaging 20 points per game on offense. They don't have a good offense. Their running game is has gone away in the last couple of weeks. Defensively, they're second ranked in defense in the NFL. They're very good. And they're fourth ranked in their scoring defense. That bodes well for them. Maybe keep it a close game. On the other side, Tampa Bay has this guy. I don't know if you've heard of him. Tom Brady. Yeah, he's playing for the Bucs, getting them into the playoffs for the first time in a very long time. He's been getting them to average about 387 yards offensively this season, but in the last 3 games, they've averaged about 500 yards. And during this 4-game win streak that they're on right now, 37 points per game. Brady threw for 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns, and only 1 interception over those 4 games. They are turning their jets on right when they need to. That's kind of the Brady MO. Struggles at the beginning. Do you remember like 4th, 5th week of the season? Everybody's like, ooh, I don't know if Brady has it. Not so fast, my friends. He has it, and he's coming in strong to the playoffs. Couple questionable injuries. Mike Evans last week got injured. He's questionable to go. Even if he doesn't go, I mean, look at all the talent around Brady with Gronk, with Antonio Brown, even Miller, and in the backfield, they got a good running back in Jones as well. So I don't think Mike Evans needs to go in this game for Brady to succeed, but it would only be an added pleasure for him. They also have Devin White. He is going to be out. That's not going to help them in any way. He is, I believe, their leading tackler. But they do have the best run defense, and with their run defense, they are going to stop the tiny run that Washington has. And they have a relentless pass D, and that is going to be the difference in this game. We like Tampa Bay -8. Their defense is going to be all over Alex Smith or Heineke, depending who goes, and I really don't think it matters. Tom Brady is going to go up against a good defense, but he's going to be the Tom Brady. He's going to dip and dive and all the way down the field, and he's going to score touchdowns. I see something like a 31-17 game. Tampa Bay -8, third best bet of Wild Card Weekend. Moving into our second best bet. This one feels like a trap game. It's Seattle versus the LA Rams. It's the 3rd time they've played this year. They split the series 1-1. Each of the home teams won, respectively. Again, injuries in this game. Seattle has a huge question mark in their secondary with Jamal Adams maybe being out. 9.5 sacks, leads the league in in quarterbacks making sacks this season. On the other hand, the big question surrounding the entire game is Jared Goff going to be good enough to go in time for this? They're telling us Sean McVay we'll know 1 minute before game time. I hope he knows a little more before then. But if it's not Goff, it's going to be that guy John Wolford from last week. He threw for over 250 yards and rushed for 50. He did have an interception, no touchdowns. Actually, I think he is the first person to ever have 250 yards passing and rush for 50 yards in their debut as a quarterback ever. Somebody double check those facts for me and let me know in the comments below. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Just spitball on that. Anyways, Jared Goff, if he goes, now this guy, he's had 17 of the 25 turnovers the Rams have accounted for this year. In the 2 games that he played Seattle, he had no touchdowns against them, with only about 500 yards passing in those 2 games. I don't like either of these guys. But what I do like about the Rams is their defense. Their defense, number 1 in the league, 18.5 points per game they give up. They're number 1 in the pass and number 3 in the run. It is going to be difficult for Russell Wilson and his key playmakers to have a good game. Speaking of those guys, Russell Wilson, 4,200 yards passing this year, 40 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, another great year by him. He definitely made the right decision not to go play baseball. Lockett and Metcalf, his 2 wide receivers, both had 1,000 yards, both had 10 touchdowns this season. They look really good. I expect if they want to win this game that Metcalf or Lockett's got to go off with 8 and 150 to win the game. Now, their defense has been subject to points, but it was more in the first half of the season. In the second half of the season, they've done really well. 5 out of the last 6 games, they kept their opponents to under 20 points, and they look very strong. Jamal Adams being in the secondary is going to be key, I think, for their victory. Overall, this is going to be a tough game. We went back and forth. Do we go under? Are the points going to be scored? But what we really decided with is I'm going to take Russell Wilson here. Jared Goff's awful. He had that fluke season where they went to the Super Bowl, and if they really can't use him and they go to Wolford, it's going to be a dominant game, I think, by Russell Wilson. 3.5, I don't like the hook, but I think they can get enough done at home to win this game. So our number 2 bet, Seattle, minus 3.5. And our number 1 bet of the week is between the Baltimore Ravens and the Tennessee Titans. This is a revenge spot for the Ravens, not only because they lost earlier in the year in overtime, 30-24, at home, I believe, but they also lost last year in the divisional round, where they're meeting up 1 week earlier this year. Now, in the wild card round, they have to win this game for Lamar Jackson, I think, to be taken seriously moving forward. Speaking of Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, they have the number 1 rushing offense in the NFL this year. But guess who has number 2? Yeah, that's Tennessee Titans. Henry over 2,000 yards. I could go on about Derrick Henry, but we know what he's done this year. It's been amazing, especially in the last 4 weeks. Jackson hasn't really had to pass the ball, so, I think he's gotten better as a passer. I definitely think in the last few weeks I've seen some sparks that he could become a better passer, but he doesn't need that. And when he does utilize it, it's off a play action because of their rush attack, and it allows some big plays down the field. Tannehill does the same thing. Him and A.J. Brown hook up a lot, but it's usually off a play action or, some big play over the top where the defense is predicting run, and that's what both of these teams can do. They can make big plays, and they can score quick on you if you give them the opportunity. Now, the Ravens have scored in every single quarter in 10 games this year. Think about that. They've scored in every single quarter in 10 out of 16 games. Now, on the flip side, the defense of the Titans has given up a score in all the quarters in 5 of the last 6 games. You know what that tells me? There's going to be some points in this game. And with an over at 55, I think that is actually a close number that we're going to hit. My only thing with the over that scares me is they run the ball and the clock will just keep ticking and ticking and ticking. What this really comes down to for us, better pass defense for the Ravens compared to the pass defense of the Titans. They are 26th in the league. They are not good at their pass defense. And if Baltimore decides to pass a little bit more, it's going to be a problem for that defense. We like the Ravens -3 as our number 1 bet in Wild Card Weekend. And just to give you an idea of how close we flipped back and forth on this and the over so many times, I do like, if you know what, I'll give you a bonus pick. Put the over 55, half a unit on this one, because Tennessee in the last 8 games that they have played, they have either scored 30 points or they've given up 30 points. Think about that. In 8 games straight, they have either scored 30 or their opponents have given up 30. And that's actually true of 13 of 16 of their games. So I think there could be some points as well. So before we recap, we teased you that we are going to give you our NFC champion because we did give our Super Bowl champion out last week. A lot of you disagreed with the Bills that we gave out as our Super Bowl champion. But I want to clarify something. We could take the Chiefs, we could take the Packers, but there's not much value in that. As a sports bettor, you really want to grab where the value is. And the Bills at 9-1 for a number 2 seed who actually might have an easy road to play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, that's a great value. So that's why we chose that. And to be honest, we're going to give you an NFC champion here in a second, but the value is the reason we chose them as well. Before we give that NFC champion away, I want everybody to put who they think their Super Bowl matchup will be. And all you have to do is put the Super Bowl matchup in the comments below, and we're going to give away a Grandstand Bettors sweatshirt for free. Okay, we're going to raffle off our prize next week when we do our divisional round bets. So all you have to do, put who the 2 teams are going to be in the Super Bowl this week. They don't have to be right. Just put your matchup in, and we'll enter you in to give you some Grandstand Better swag. So anyways, back to the NFC champion. We have, we're going to take the Seahawks. Now, it's all about value. Do I think the Seahawks have a really good chance of winning the NFC? Not really, but I think if they get past the Rams, they're matched up with a Saints team that I actually think they could do some damage against, because the Breeze is kind of over the hill. He's not that quarterback who can throw for 450 yards anymore. They kind of, just drop off, get some passes. They don't go down the field as much as they used to, and I think that plays into Seattle's defense. I think Russell Wilson can absolutely exploit that defense, which has been very good. And if Seattle can get past the Rams and play a Saints team and get into a chance to either play maybe Tampa or Green Bay, I think they have a good opportunity to win the NFC Championship. And you can get them at 6-1. There's not much value in the NFC. To be honest with you, the Packers are about even money right now. The Saints are only about 2-1. So there's not much value, and we did want to give out a play that had some value. So throw a unit on that. I mean, you can 6-1, win 6 units. All they got to do is win 3 games. It's simple as that, right? Anyways, put the Super Bowl predictions in the comments below, and we're going to raffle off some Grandstand Better swag for you next week. Before we recap, real quick shout out to all the people that gave us some love last week and gave us their best bets. Very biased opinions, man. Thank you guys as always. Appreciate the love. We miss you guys coming on our show with your picks. English Premier League is off this week, so hopefully we'll get you back on in a couple weeks. Joven, man, you finally hit a winner. Ravens -7.5 first half. Great job. Rocky, Bills, easy winner. We were on them as well. Edward, you went 4-0, man. They were money line picks, and all of them were very high juiced at 200 or higher. But one thing you do need to do is check your weather report. You gave a lot of people doubt that there were, or you guys gave a lot of people information there was going to be snow in all these cold places, and there wasn't much snow at all. Ryan, dude, you were on Buffalo as well, so were we. Great job. Clint, you like the Titans and the Packers in the Super Bowl. Write that again. Let people know. We'll put you in the raffle. Jorge, 2-2-1, man. That's fine. That's a push week. Hey, we'll take it. We've been actually 60% over the last 3 weeks. Excited about that. But Jorge, keep at it, man. Itty bitty. No fun, itty bitty. You're taking Packers Chiefs. That's no fun. Nobody wants to see the top 2 teams go at it, or maybe they do. Sean, man, huge shout out. You're a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. We are huge Pittsburgh Penguins fan. As you can see behind me, the season starts on Wednesday, I believe. We're actually thinking about doing some Penguin stuff. Definitely NHL, free picks, free predictions, all that stuff. We'll get it out. If you guys want NHL picks, write me a note in the comments, and we'll make sure we get that to you. That's actually our best, by far, sport that we know. Just remember 2-4, man. Not great. Miseria, like your name, you didn't win that parlay, or did you? The next day, you gave us a parlay. Come on, man. Stick with your first one. Don't add a second one saying you didn't bet the loser. Jason likes Cam Newton as the #1 quarterback in the NFL. I'm just going to let everybody watching tear that up. But that's it for us. Quick recap, Washington, Tampa Bay. We got Tampa Bay -8, Seattle -3.5 over the Rams. And our number one bet, it's going to be the Ravens -3, maybe a half unit on the over 55. It's going to be a great weekend of football. Six football games, super wild card weekend as they're calling it. As always, sit back, relax, enjoy all the football. Say sorry to the wives. And as always, let us do the work while you do the winning.